Hello, everybody, and you're watching me here on YouTube after really a long time, and the same with me. So we are interacting after a long time there. So we'll, move forward with the series called Ways of the World. So it's really a little bit long story today. It's from the collection of columns written by my one of my favorite writer Chetan Bhagat, and he has written he has there is a beautiful story in his the collection of novels called What Young India Wants, and so that's really a good anecdote. So I would narrate it for you here. There was a beautiful village, and in that village, everything was beautiful except one thing. That village was facing a lot of scarcity of water. So the villagers decided there that they would collect the water at a place in the rainy season and they'll use that water throughout the year for their purposes, like growing crops, like taking water in their household activities and everything. So they've decided that. So what happened, that soon there were some ducks introduced into the water, and later on when the time passed, the generation passed, the ducks were worshipped as gods and goddesses of the lake. They became deities of the lake. So there was a special species of ducks. So those special species were like having golden plated feathers. So they were appointed. They were actually worshipped as the supreme gods of the lake, and just junior to them, just I would say their successor was, I would say the junior in the post, I would say then the designation was the wise duck. The older one was appointed as a prime minister, and even as we have the hierarchy here in Indian politics, the president was the golden duck, and the prime minister was that wise duck. So the interaction between the villagers and the wise duck was actually very frequent, but the golden duck used to keep silent and modest most of the times. So what happened that one day uh, everything was going fine. The ducks invited children to play with them, just to swim in the lake and in that pond. Everything was going fantastic. And suddenly, what happened? Some children found missing. So the villagers, they were worried. They approached the wise duck, because he was the only source of interaction between the system. So he said, that they went to the wise duck and said, "Sir, please help us out. Some of our children, they are missing." He said, "So there must be something wrong with you. There must be some misunderstanding. We have not done anything, or we are not responsible. We have not seen that. They have not even come here in the lake." They said, "Okay." The villagers remained stunned, but because as they were, there was faith, there was utmost faith on them. So they said, "Okay, fine, we'll take care." And then again, some more children found missing. So it really became a matter of concern. Then they approached Wise Duck again and they said, "Sir, now it's high time. We want to know where our kids are." And he simply said, "They are not missing in the lake. You must search them somewhere else. We are not responsible." Then they prayed the golden duck, and he was also having the same answer. The villagers were, actually very much worried, but they couldn't help, because, what could ducks do? They were in that mode, and they knew that children came to swim in the lake, and they are missing. That means ducks should have some, information about them. They were having this thing in the mind. Later on, what happened? One fine night when they were all asleep, they were actually deep in their slumber, and they heard a noise. There was some party going on. There is some dhamaka, some dancing is happening. So what they did, they woke up and they actually chased the voice, the noises, and they've reached a place where ducks were partying that day. And they were stunned to know, because the ducks were partying with some crocodiles. The villagers were stunned. My God, what is happening? The ducks, they said, "We don't know about our children, and they are partying here." and that too with the crocodiles. That means the picture was clear. The crocodiles have eaten up their kids, their children, and the ducks are also enjoying with them. So they have approached the wise duck again, the golden duck. They said, "What are you doing? Why, you are parting with the killers, the man eaters, the killers of our kids." This, they looked up to the villagers and said, "We have no option. You have to compromise sometimes, and we are actually in the compromising mode." The villagers replied, "We have to compromise with the killers of our kids. It's not possible. We are not going to do it at any cost." And they've left, and they left the place. After some times, when villagers returned home, they made an observation. They said, now we have to do some needful here, because it's really not a good thing. We can't, leave the killers of our kids. So they've decided to, you know, stop going to the lakes or using the water, and they've stopped it. After some time, they've dug a new lake. They put some more water into that lake, and so one of the smart villagers took a pipeline from that older, pond or lake to the new pond, and filled it up with the water. After the water dried up, the crocodiles, as they were praying for their lives, ducks and crocodiles, they prayed villagers for their life, but villagers paid no attention. They said, "You've killed our kids." After some time, what happened? They've died. Some, the system, the political system today is like this only. You approach police or anybody else there in the country, they said कोई ऊपर है वो कुछ कर रहा है, फिर the file is going up and down and all such things are happening. See, this is the old system, this kind of old lake, old pond we have had. So we need to change the system now, guys. Enough of this old system. We need to bring about a change, and that change can only happen with the youth of the country. So if you think in this direction, we can actually have we have to break the traditional molds, and that won't happen by just speaking or posting something. See, change will happen. I'm sure your writing also affects a lot of people. Your speaking also affects a lot of people. But please come out in reality and do something for the country. Before asking government to do something for you, you must have that thing with you, that what have you done for the nation. And it's not just speaking, please. Everybody is speaking today. Do your part, contribute your part to the country. I request, I will not request, because that's your birthright and that's your responsibility to vote for the country. And if you're not voting, you're making such a big mistake. You're making a blunder, because one of your vote can really change the course of this country, where this country is going on. So you decide. You better, you're all enough intelligent to understand things. So ducks and crocodiles are all, they have decided, and they're actually, doing the things as the things are going for years. You have to dig up a new lake. Yeah. So I hope you got the moral of the story now. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to me, for paying me such a valuable patience and time. And we'll keep on meeting, because there had been a lot of, wait. So I'll not keep you waiting this time. Yeah. Thank you so much. And Namaskar. Jai Gurudev.